Hello adventurers, and I want to talk to you about a much debated topic in which there is no right answer. In fact, as I talk about this, I want to preface this by saying what I am saying is not the right answer. What I'm saying is not the rule, the law, or what you should follow, but rather I'm only trying to provide my own insight on this topic, and that's alignments. And I feel like I've seen a lot of arguments happen either online or at the table while playing just over what alignments are. And for those of you unfamiliar, alignments are what you use for your character as a means to kind of generally describe their attitude towards the world. That's the chaotic good, the neutral evil, lawful good. You might have heard those terms before, and that's what alignment is. The first part describing how they feel towards society and order. Lawful, like they follow the rules. Neutral, like I'm not really sure, or chaotic, where they rather do their own thing. And then the second half being their general behavior towards everything else. Good, neutral, and evil. My biggest piece of advice that comes to alignment and figuring it out and how it works is don't even worry about it. You can kind of have it at the get-go to maybe get an idea of how you want your character to kind of be or act, but it should by no means be a binding contract of how you play your character. And I feel like that's the big problem that a lot of people end up having, is they feel like they have to act this way rather than what they want to do in their head. And this is what causes the arguments across the table. And I want to talk about a few alignments specifically because I feel like a lot of them kind of end up getting like a bad rep or having a lot of troubles, or the ones that are kind of talked about or complained about the most online, or at least from what I've seen. The biggest one is lawful good. A lot of people have problem with lawful good characters because they kind of see them as these goody two shoes, everything straight by the books, everything must be perfect kind of characters. There's a lot of the reasons that a lot of people hate the paladin class, because up until 5th edition, paladins had to be lawful good. And they feel like they're babysitters, they feel like they have to keep everyone in line. That ends up causing a lot of arguments. And I don't think that really needs to be the case for lawful good, as lawful does not necessarily mean following the literal law, but it could also be following your own personal code of ethics, or maybe a personal code amongst your allies. For example, a paladin of whatever deity they chose could have a different personal code compared to another one. So I feel like that's another way to kind of look at it. Look at a personal law rather than like the literal law. I feel like a lot of people kind of take that literally, and you don't need to. And the good part about it, it's easy to be good. They feel like a lot of people see lawful good characters like, oh, they don't kill ever, they don't murder everyone, everyone must be taken alive and like must be given a fair trial. I don't necessarily think that's the case. A lot of people will disagree with that, and that's how they kind of see it. And that's where, again, that very kind of binding part of alignment comes from. So I think people can have their own law that they follow, and it's generally good. They try to do what's right. Another alignment is true neutral. That's a tough one to do, as basically they are right down the middle on everything, and they will go on either side depending on how it sees fit. And I've seen this cause problems before in the past, where people saw true neutral people where in the middle of a battle, if it feels like their party is losing, they'll just switch to the other side because he's true neutral. That's what he would do. And again, that's a moment where I feel like alignment isn't the way you should be doing your character, because once you start working against the party, you're causing problems. Like, you still can recognize that, all of these troglodytes are evil and they're just murdering the people. I'm not going to join them just because they're winning. That's the true neutral part. Like, that's the hard part. That's a really tough one to do because it feels like you're kind of paralyzed and aren't allowed to make decisions. I don't see a whole lot of people playing true neutral anymore, but that's another one I'm not really a fan of, and I can't really recommend it to a lot of people, and I think it's unnecessary. There's also another one is chaotic evil. And this is really hard to play properly. And here's my biggest piece of advice to those who want to play a chaotic evil person in the party. Don't. Nothing good will come from it. When you play chaotic evil, whether it's you backstab the party, attack them, steal from your friends, or just do evil things, what that usually ends up causing is you are a detriment to everyone else's fun for yourself. And that just causes problems at the table, and then no one is having fun. I don't think anyone should play chaotic evil. Not saying it's impossible, because you can. It's very difficult to do. But generally speaking, nothing good comes from being a chaotic evil person, like an outright evil character. There's no reason like an evil person would be traveling with a group of heroes, unless they had really, really strong reasons to. And that, again, could be possible in your backstory or in the character development. But generally, nothing good comes from being chaotic evil. An entire party of chaotic evil people. What if we do that? Well, eventually your party's gonna fight amongst yourself. And once both your characters are fighting and even your players are fighting, again, everything just comes to a halt and it's no longer fun. I don't recommend ever playing chaotic evil characters. Save chaotic evil for NPCs, for villains, for bad guys, and for monsters. Now, another thing I want to talk about alignment is, if a lot of this is really, really confusing, it is, and here's another big piece of advice is, just don't use it at all. It is absolutely possible to just not have an alignment written down for your character and just figure it out as you go and develop them that way. This is so much so that 4th edition D&D did not have the alignment system. They just pretty much completely did away with it, more or less, and just said, you know your characters, you know how to play it. And I think that's a possibility too. And maybe as you kind of play your character, you start to realize what their alignment is, and then you can pencil it in later. Also a possibility. And pretty much every single, I've been trying to read up and study all the different versions of alignment and what they've kind of written down in all the different books, and they pretty much all kind of said the same thing. Alignment at no point should be a binding contract. It should not limit to how you play or feel like you need to change the way your character acts. From a mechanical standpoint, I do like alignment for things like clerics can't take spells from the evil domain, or etc. Like that makes more sense. That could be kind of cool. And another way to kind of develop your character was if they can only use certain spells or certain magical items of the right alignment. That's a bit better. And the last bit I wanted to say about alignment is this is one I see a lot too. Is when you do something or say something or make a decision or whatever, and someone else at the table, whether it's your dungeon master or another player, they look at you and say, your character wouldn't do that. He's neutral good. He would not do that thing. And the moment that happens, you need to tell that person, stop. I know my character. I know what my character would do. No one else should be able to tell you outright no because of the quote-unquote rules put before you. Good people can be driven to do evil things. Evil characters can have a change of heart and do something out of the ordinary. So again, whether it's the dungeon master or another player, if they say you can't do that because your character wouldn't do that, they are not playing your character. They shouldn't even be allowed to say something like that. That goes to rules lawyer territory, and those aren't fun to play with. So just remind them, like, this is a big moment. Yes, it is out of the ordinary. Yes, he is normally neutral good, and this is a very neutral evil thing that he's doing. What does this mean? How will this affect his character? Will it stick with them in the play sessions to come? Again, to use an example, my character D.F. Woodrow is chaotic good. He's done what can easily be described as evil things, but he saw it as the greater good, but it was an evil act, and it's something that has kind of stuck with him, and he's not quite over with it though. So don't let anyone else tell you how to play your character. You know how to play your character. Don't let alignments tell you how to play your character. You know how to play your character. Use it as a basis, use it as a guideline, but do not use it as the end-all be-all what you have to do when it comes to alignment. And this is a very much debated topic, so I know a lot of other people have a lot to say about this, and I would love to hear your thoughts on these as well, because again, I want to have a civil discussion about this and how it can be both beneficial or detrimental to play sessions. So please let me know in the comments down below, or if you have any other resources or guides that you think could be useful for experienced players or new players when it comes to alignment. Let me know about it on Twitter. Again, keep using that hashtag D&December, and I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion on alignment. As always, I'll see you next time, adventurers.